look at that. We've got some more Symphogear. So, I hope you're ready for it, because descending down onto the battlefield like a fallen angel, Miku herself has found herself in a fancy new set of armour. Although exactly her prowess down here is yet to be seen, I don't believe it's all for the best. Mainly because the doctor has something behind it, and that never ends well. But is Hibiki's never-ending sense of protecting her friends going to win over once again? I kind of hope so. I like that we had the friends on the outside that weren't part of it all, and yet were trying so hard to help, or at least do anything. This isn't what we wanted, though. It can only ever be a good thing when someone is summoned to the battlefield who was a complete outsider in all of this. Was she given this linker drug as well? Is we going to have to siphon off some of the energy before she burns up? And also, are the other two going to switch sides and be like, hang on, what the hell are you doing? Being forcefully sent to fight your own friends, whether or not she has any autonomy over herself and or memories. I can see several governments that would actually be interested in pursuing this idea further, but also despicable. If the world needs to produce these wielders of the gears as much as possible to help prevent the moon... new bit, nice. Prevent the moon from crashing down. If it doesn't have undue effects on the body, as long as it's more than just a one-time use. Maybe it can be experimented on for the better, but right now, I don't see it. And will she have the moments like Hibiki in her berserk state where there's flashes of humanity that come back and she remembers who she is? She has brought herself out here because she disagrees with the actions being taken here. He definitely has your best interests at heart. Maybe if she wasn't in this cage... How long was she... How long did it take him to transform her into what she is now? Okay, so he doesn't realize there is a limit to it. So using her wishes against her, But I don't think there's going to be so many that have such a strong will. Also, I did see that plate in the back of her head when she's in the tube. Is it reversible? Fine is a bit of an overstatement, yeah. Let's hope that she isn't watching the feed right now. Is a certain part of her going to snap? What is her fighting style now that it's been brought out? The thing is, you got to try and defeat her without hurting her at the same time. Good that she changed her mind immediately. Is all of her hard work going to actually pay off? Or is she going to be immediately overpowered by the newly formed one? Unhindered by will. The strength of humanity pulling through. And if she gets taken out while over the ocean, are they going to save her? The fact he knows that she's going through a lot is like, yeah, there's a lot at stake right now, but we kind of also need to not put her under any even more undue stress. Letting off a missile volley while on the ship, so hope she's at least tempered the parallels and cause more destruction on this and make it sink. The fact that Hibiki has maintained herself and not leapt into the fray is impressive. Really? Did he have to? Well, you would say that be more argumentative and evil about it, but no, I think that was genuinely some decent advice if they had tried to remove it. Although I think he's more worried about his experiment going up in flames. Neat song. It's got a long wind up. And the fact that she couldn't move because, she has a charge behind her. And the fact that how long can she hold out on this? The fact that the song picked up just after the blast went out as well. Don't look down on what she's capable of. As long as... What about if things aren't evil? Also, considering, they've got like a common enemy right now, got an ally in common. Does Tsubasa need to be holding them back? There's a bigger threat. Just keep putting up breaches in the way. It went through all 51 hulls. But I'm guessing she's going up. Rather than the Prometheus school of running away from things, she finally learned. Turn or go up. She begin the charge again. And pushing them to this limit now. I don't think he can really control them further if he tries to make them betray each other. But by working together, they can overcome the grandiose ideas of a megalomaniac. Since he seems to be... Oh, I wondered what that line was going to do other than summoning the noise. Yeah, that makes sense. At least, unlike some things, it seems relatively quick. Yeah, on top of everything. You don't expect him to make it easy for them now? Spin to win. Was she... Ah. And don't worry about yourself as well. Ah. She deemed it... She has better targets at hand. She's rapidly approaching. Will there be many left in the fleet? I mean, if she put down her arms and let them... The fact that he's like manager to the rescue right now. That's an interesting backstep there with some ghosting. She used the launch. Nice. For herself. I mean, we know the commander is like skilled in of himself, but Jesus. This scythe has like a bolus effect. Oh, a guillotine now. Do you need the laughter? Good use. Oh? Well, it looks like you've got quite the new soldier then, if you can disperse all others. Let her try. At the risk of herself, do you want to let everyone else fall? You need to perform some emergency intervention there. I mean, I know that the reason they're siding with him so much is to extend her lifespan a bit, but one for how many? We've seen piles before, but none that were quite so well formed. And we've seen cloves and whatnot still be turned to ash. Why did the pendant survive other than just tugging at our heartstrings? Oh, she can talk. He said. She was in a fragile state. He knows how to twist people to his will, doesn't he? Just so that she doesn't have to, by eliminating the rest of it. So her idealism is a way to break through once again. Hibiki's words over everything else. The way towards this world of not letting her fight, causing her to actually join the battlefield itself, seems to have backfired slightly. Look what you've done, Miku. And a way more emphasis on the sequence with a very subdued tune to go along with it, but what instrument is that? Oh. So any more than that is, irreversible damage? Or is that how much time left of all of her transforms that she has left? It doesn't matter what happens to her, I'm guessing. I forbid you to die. Good plan. She'll survive even if it kills her. We've seen what the power of spirit and support can actually do, so that is a certain level of determination that you can't really take away from her. And I thought there was actually in the moment of battle there, she was transforming a bit. No, it was just a idea of what may happen. The fact she's T-posing around in that circle. I do like the idea of her having a chorus of voices helping with the song there. And nice to see the the reflector shield's being used again. It wasn't a one-time idea or thing there. Can it stop squelching? Wow. If that's not a visual cue, I don't know what is. That went down pretty quick. I mean, she has somewhat of a consciousness back. She's to get straight to the operating table. Take it. How much of her is going to be left, though, if it eliminates the relics? That's a cool light. Did the slight shift with them being in the middle of the beam change trajectory at least a little? It may be surfacing, but can they keep hold of it? So, what quality of life is Spicky going to have after all of this? Even with her fused state, with a relic itself regenerating limbs for her, if it's taken over to so much that her skin is crystallizing and to that extent, maybe that beam strips it off her, pierces more than just skin deep, takes back some of the danger level she had. Or just, completely removes the fragment of relic that was near her heart. I mean, if she wants to be out of the fight, Miku got her wish from that. Possibly. But the entire thing just being wanting friends to be able to live their lives without being drawn into conflict or putting themselves in danger by sacrificing yourself. How many of them have that exact thought process? After credit scene. Oh, that's neat. I expected it to be fancy looking, but no, that is ancient. Oh, are the ships in a good place? Is that, Chris? Okay. I mean, she got in her way one too many times. What a surprising outcome at the end there. Well, maybe not, considering, Chris was on the outside to begin with, so the whole, oh, I've crossed you again, haha. Yeah, if that's not a double bluff and she's actually just cementing herself into the doctor's eyes, oh, I'm going to work well with you now. Look, look what I did. If any of them, Chris would be the best double agent. I don't trust for a minute that she actually shot Tsubasa in the back for no real gain or coordination with the rest of the team. Still, one big beam taking out Miku and Hibiki, forcefully removing the gear from her without causing, hopefully, any neurological distress, and whatever it would have done to Hibiki herself. I'm calling the power of the Symphogear itself, the will of friendship, they're going to pull through just fine. Because if they don't, there'd be an uprising. But this frontier rising from the waves itself, looking like some old hastily put together cobble wall, I like the look of it. How it survived that long under the sea without growing any kind of lichen or anything. Or coral, algae, seaweed, barnacles. It was very clean. But compared to what the Tower of Babel looking thing before, now we've got some ancient relic of the past, monument and structure that dwarfs those battleships. Yeah, I can see that being useful to them. If the Doctor himself can actually keep hold of it, force out the others, the intruders, the Americans, and the very dismantled team at the minute. Hibiki being out of it, Tsubasa being, well, down on the deck, and Chris seemingly flipping sides. Yeah, they don't have much protecting it all, do they? Well, they've got the manager and the commander. Those two can handle it by themselves. You know, they can't take all the glory, that's why they're letting the others have a go. Miku's song in this, though, I really quite enjoyed it. I do like that each of them have almost a different style and tempo for the most part. How many different ways can relics be made into armor and weapons and fighting styles? Before you get more into the Beyblade spinning chakram version that Miku was just now. That is, well, it was an interesting way of doing it. And I really quite enjoyed seeing a bit more of the side wielder as well, with her kind of guillotine and bolus setup, but did it need the giggling laughter? It felt like it was creepy for the sake of it, rather than being effective. But then again, if you had a giant jet-powered guillotine heading towards your neck, maybe, yeah. It would be the least of your issues. But the way for the Doctor to worm his way into people's minds to make them think what is the best way to proceed, protect what you really want. Is it your friends, your relatives, your mother that you're looking after? Well, the only way of doing so is his. No matter how many innocents you have to cut down to obtain it. But they're going to be having to write a shite ton of letters for this, don't they? Finding missing people is going to be one hell of a task, and finding those that have fallen to the noise. I mean, all you've got to really identify them is a suspicious black pile of dust. Maybe a few personal belongings scattered in there to help out, but I do not envy that task. But also with the amount of episodes kind of wrapping up for this season of G, it's all going to come to a head at some point, and either this pulsing blob on the back of Miku's head is going to be part of the Nephilim, or some way siphoning some power from it. I'm guessing we'll have the rebirth of it, and not much to really fight back against it. But we still haven't seen the trifecta of holding hands and siphoning the energy off yet again since the beginning concert. So we know that's going to be coming up. Much like the reflector disc, it was not a one-time deal. It's not just shown to us for the sake of it. But also now that she was forcibly taken out of her gear with the D-linker, is the takeover by Finne's soul gonna ease or rapidly accelerate? And yes, I am basing it on that she's actually the one without it being fully confirmed, if at all confirmed at all. Just makes more sense storytelling-wise. One more twist and heartbreak in all of the friendships. How many things could have been fixed if someone had just taken Solomon's cane away from him, putting in a lockbox and not told him the code? No more noise. Try and get through this without the mass murder of innocents. But I guess it is that constant threat of noise where they haven't just bombarded their little airship. Still, so much going on, so many threats, and we've got to fish a couple of girls out to the ocean. Make sure to get them onto the operating table. Pretty sharpish. See what's left of one of them at least. That should be interesting. How long into the next one are we going to be held in suspense? We'll have to find out. If you've enjoyed this episode, let me know. Leave a like and a comment down below. Consider subscribing. But for now, make sure to get yourself some rest. I really hope to see you in the next one. If you would like to come to my aid, with or without the copious amounts of physical trauma, consider joining onto my Patreon, because it really does help out the channel without having to go to the extreme lengths of sacrificing oneself. And so I really do need to thank Noku, Sal, Dotchelfan, Guado, Kite, Raywin, Wolfie Sensei, and everyone else. Because truly, if it wasn't for all of you, I wouldn't still be here. And I really am so glad to be able to still have a will of my own.